Disclaimer: the following is a non-scientific test. The Canon 50mm f1 was not designed to work with the Panasonic GH5. Though I was able to get it to work smoothly, your results may vary.
So I was wondering, if I mount the Canon 50mm f1 on the GH5 with the Metabones Speedbooster XL, does this mean I'll get a 32mm f0.64 lens? More importantly, what kind of images would I get? So, first of all, this isn't a review for the Canon 50mm f1. For that, you can check out episode 23. I'll leave a link in the description below. You may check it out if you are interested. This is a test to see what kind of results I will get if I mount the Canon 50mm f1 on the GH5 with the Metabones Speedbooster XL. But as soon as the lens was mounted, I noticed that the aperture wouldn't go wider than f1. At first I thought maybe that's the limit of the speed booster. Maybe f1 is as wide as it'll ever go. So in order to prove this theory, I needed to do another test.
So for my test before the actual test, I mounted the Canon 50mm f1 onto the GH5 using the Speedbooster XL and took a sample shot with the aperture wide open. I then mounted the same lens on a full frame body, and while making sure to get the composition as similar as possible, I took several shots at varying apertures. The idea here is that the image taken on the full frame camera with the most similar looking bokeh to the image taken on the GH5 should share the same aperture. Now I understand that this isn't accurate, but since the difference between 64mm and 50mm isn't too great, I guess we can get away with it. So after scrutinizing all the shots, I concluded that the closest match is the image shot at f1.3. This is great news. It proves that the speed booster is actually working. It's unable to show an f0.65 aperture, but it works. Also, I noticed that the bokeh is smoother on the GH5 than on full frame. How interesting. Anyway, with that resolve, we can finally do the actual test. First up is the bokeh test. And the bokeh is good. It retains that dreamy bouquet you get when using this lens with a full frame body. The next thing I noticed was how clear the image looked when shot wide open. Back when I was doing the review of this lens on a full frame body, the one thing I noticed immediately was how soft everything looked. Here, it seems like things are a little better. And then we have the issue of flaring. It was there on a full frame body, and it's still here on the GH5. And finally, I tried to see how much sharper this lens can get if I stop it down. I found that maximum sharpness is achieved at around f4. And from that point onwards, I couldn't really see a difference. For those of you interested in using this lens for stills, you'll be disappointed to learn that this lens vignettes when shooting in both 4:3 and 3:2 aspect ratios. It's not so obvious at the larger apertures, but beyond f2.8, it gets visibly noticeable. And because of that, I can't really recommend this lens for anything else other than video. This is really odd, as Metabones said that the Speedbooster XL was meant to work with full-frame lenses. I guess that's why this lens isn't on their list of compatible lenses. Oh well.
So here's my thoughts on using the Canon 50mm f1 on the GH5 with the Metabones Speedbooster XL. Yes, you can achieve good results, but the Canon 50mm f1 is rare and expensive, and there are its flaws, like the flaring and not being able to shoot stills in any aspect ratio due to vignetting. Ultimately, this is just a test to satisfy my curiosity. I just hope that in the process, you guys found this educational. Yeah, let's go with that. Until next time, see ya!
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention this. Autofocusing works, but it's slow and hunts around every once in a while.